Welcome to this episode of Showcase Wedding. I'm your host, Rebecca Martel. Planning a wedding does not sit solely on the shoulders of the bride and groom. It can take an entire team. And in this episode, I want to introduce you to business owners that could be some of your team players. Now in studio, I get to share with you some absolutely beautiful and incredibly edible pieces of artwork that Felicia has created. Thank you so much, Felicia, for coming into studio.
Thank you.
You're from Sweet Savors, and you do these beautiful cakes. Can you give me a little background on your company?
Sure. I started Sweet Savor by Felicia a couple of years ago. I actually moved to Canada 6 years ago, and that totally was not what I was doing back home. But when I came here, I wanted to kind of pursue what I was doing back home. It didn't work out. So then I actually got a job at a bakery. Was thrown in the deep end, started learning cake decorating and all sorts of skills. Someone asked me to make a cake for their child, and I did. I didn't like it at first, but as I developed my skills, I really found that I really loved the creative design side of cake decorating. And now I have my own business, and it's really just taken off. I love wedding cakes, I love making sugar flowers and details like that.
Now, the sugar flowers, these are incredible. We can't believe that they're not real flowers. How do you go about making them? How do you create them?
Sure, it's really a trial and error process. I learned in the beginning by YouTube videos and like internet tutorials and things like that. But nowadays I really try to make them more realistic. And in doing that, I sometimes go out and buy real flowers, like stems or like a rose or like a peony, or something even more exotic like protea. Or I look at pictures on the internet and I really try to recreate all the nuances in color and the texture of the flowers. And that's really what I love. I love to pull it apart. I love to like research it and to make flowers, because as we saw earlier, everyone loves sugar flowers. They're all stunned. They're all like, wow, these are real. You know, you can eat them. Yes, you can.
Do a lot of people, do they eat them at the wedding, or is it something that they want to keep safe forever?
Yes, it's actually a bit of both. A lot of times, unfortunately, it is thrown out by the kitchen when it's cut up. I know.
I can't believe that.
It's heartbreaking for me, I know, but like, yeah, sometimes it is thrown out, but sometimes I do have like a special request from the couple that we would really love to keep them. So I would recreate the exact flower that they want, that's in their bouquets or their bridal table and things like that. And then they're like, I want to keep these forever, because obviously fresh flowers, you can't keep them forever. And so I've created flowers on cakes where they've actually taken them home afterwards. And also the other extreme, like I had a groom last year for his cake. When they were cutting the cake with his bride, he was like so like wowed by the novelty of it. He was like, I'm gonna take this flower, I'm gonna eat it. And he just like totally like plucked one off and like, put it in his mouth, and everyone was like, whoa.
In disbelief, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then the bride took the other one, like one of the other flowers, and she was actually going around to each table showing everyone. Like she was actually taking the time going, look at this, it's like not real, but like it's so fabulous. And
what
she really
a
loved it.
compliment. What
Yeah,
a
so
compliment.
that's what really makes this type of work rewarding, when my clients are like that.
Now, because it is so realistic, it takes such a long time. How far in advance should they be coming to you to start collaborating and building that process?
Basically, as soon as they have like a date set and they kind of have an idea of what they want, it's best to come. So like 6 to 8 months is ideal. A little bit earlier even doesn't hurt. But if they would like something that's like sugar flowers, something that's intricate, that takes a long time, the earlier the better, definitely.
And it is a mesh of styles, so how do you help them figure out what it is they want to put on the cake?
Yes, sometimes clients come to me and, the groom or the bride or whoever, they all have different ideas, from flavors to like, the external design. And so it's really my job to distill and bring everything together into one cohesive design that represents both of them and that they both love, and, obviously will taste good as well.
So like you said, bringing colors, or even if she already knows what flowers she's going to have in her bouquet, that can really help.
Yes, more and more though, I'm getting brides that are coming in, I'm asking them, okay, what are your flowers for your wedding? This is like a few months out, and a lot of florists in Montreal, they don't actually specify a specific type of flower. It's usually what's in season along the color palette of, what the couple chooses. So when that happens, then I usually try to stick to the color palette, but it might be then the bride's favorite flower. I'll just ask her, what is her favorite flower in general, and I'll just recreate that for the cake. So sometimes it does follow the florals, and sometimes it's based on the color palette. but I don't even know what the florist would choose until like the week of their wedding.
Perfect. And last, a lot of the times we think of a white wedding cake with a vanilla inside. What other flavors do you like pairing together?
I love all sorts of flavors. I love citrus, so lemon and raspberry, or cream cheese and berries is like some of my favorite. I also love anything to do with like nuts, like hazelnut praline. I love lemon and macadamia. Obviously, being from Australia, I love macadamia nuts. But you know, it really is dependent on the couple. So if they like, I just had a couple last week that chose banana cake and dulce de leche and caramel. So it really is anything that they like to put into their cake. It can be custom designed, just like the outside. The flavor can also be customized.
And like you said, it's not something that's going to be cut up and put away. People are really going to enjoy it. And these are something that's definitely going to be a part of the photos as well, the display in front of the head table perhaps.
Yeah, these days like the trends is not really to have a white cake anymore. It's not to have like a traditional all white covered in fondant, maybe like a fruit cake or a white cake inside, and it's just cut up and sent home with guests. These days, couples are really coming to me for like a modern design and something that really represents them and is part of their personality. It's a showcase piece, right? So when you go to a wedding, you see the cake displayed, you know, in front of the sweetheart table or close to them. And when they cut the cake, they really want people to go, wow, like that's like sugar. That's like they really want that kind of wow effect for their cake. And that's what I'm really enjoying. Montreal is very eclectic. It's very artsy. And so couples here are very open to non-traditional designs and, you know, like something that's really different.
Well, thank you so much, Felicia, for coming in. You've obviously found your passion. Thank you for showing us this. On the Showcase Wedding website, we want you to click on the link for Sweet Savor and ask Felicia to start creating your dream cake. So once the vows are complete, it's time to move on to the party. And I'm here with Francis Gouda from Bacino Events. He's going to let us know how to get the party going and how to keep it going all night long. Thank you for being in studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
Give me a little background on what your company is.
So we are event production or weddings production, which is a main part of our business. We do everything from music, entertainment, design, planning, rentals as well in there, and basically the overall looking over or guidance of your wedding from start to end. That's our goal.
And you yourself, you're more in the music part of the business.
Yes, I am an MC. I'm a professional MC. I'm a professional entertainer. So I make sure that the party goes strong all night and we have fun doing it. And then we got DJs behind us or musicians that help the night move along as well.
And what's the difference between a DJ and an MC if you're looking to hire just one? Or...
So short and sweet, an MC's job is to get people everybody on the dance floor, everybody a good time. And the DJ's job is to keep them there for the rest of the night. And then in between, if there's stuff to be said or if stuff to be inserted into the night, we can go ahead and do it as an MC, but or else we let the DJ do his work as much as possible.
You get him to play all the music, get everybody going. Now there's a top 10 list everyone wants to listen to.
And there's a top 10 that nobody wants to listen to.
Do you send them out with that list?
Yeah, we try to guide them and, you know, avoid the cheesiness factor, like the whole YMCA and macho man and all that. But obviously, if at the end of the day, the bride and groom decide that that's what they want, and we'll move on and we'll satisfy their request as much as possible with a heavy heart, though.
And in your opinion, why is it important to get somebody that has the experience behind them?
So it's an industry that's not really regulated or anything like that. So there's people that are in the industry just to focus on making a few extra dollars. There's people are there who are weekend warriors, like we call them. And then there's the professionals. So if entertainment and producing an event or producing your wedding is really a big focus and is really a priority for you, then we suggest you hire professionals. And this is where people come and see us and hand over their event and make sure that it goes smoothly and avoids any mishaps or anything like that.
Now, working with the public, working at these events, you have to plan for the unexpected. Has that ever happened to you?
It's happened a few times. Obviously, we've had party going, all fun and dandy, and then the guy in front of you or in front of the stage pops a kneecap for how hard he's been dancing. So you got to make sure to pay attention to him and make sure he gets the proper attention, but as well keep the party going as much as possible and not necessarily focus on that to kind of drown out the party. There's been bride and grooms who pass out from alcohol intoxication or things like that. It happens. You just make sure to deal with it, and that's why a pro will handle it and make sure that the bride and groom don't just end up faces down on the head table and everybody taking selfies with them.
No, perfect. So you have to know how to deal with that.
You gotta deal with it, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, that sounds like you would definitely get the party going. Keep it going. And next I get to speak with Chris. She's the other half of the operation.
She takes care of all the pretty stuff. So I make sure people have a good time. She makes sure people walk into a beautiful room.
Oh, perfect. I look forward to meeting her. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Now I'm joined by Chris Wong. You are the other half of Bacino Events.
That's correct.
I understand you're the one that brings the glitz and the glam to the brides and grooms, correct?
Yes. All the pretty part, it's my part.
So when a bride and groom are planning a wedding, what is it that they should be coming to you with?
Well, I think that primarily they should have a budget. I think that's absolutely important. They don't realize what they need and what they have and match those things together. So definitely priorities and the budget. So is it more important the DJ, the entertainment, the food, the place, the decoration? What is it that is more important to you?
And what is it that you can do for the bride? I understand you can go with them the whole day.
Oh, absolutely. So we can do as little or as much as they need. For me, it's a participatory thing. I'm there to help them, to be with them, to make it easier for them. So if you want me to be there from the beginning to the end, from the makeup until I send them off to the hotel room, or I can be there as a coordinator. I can be there to help them during the day. It's really up to them.
Just the setup or the entire day to
Oh,
make it flow?
absolutely, absolutely. But definitely, obviously, we encourage the full experience, which is a stress-free experience. You really need to enjoy your wedding date. I mean, it's all about that.
And that's what you can do for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, what trends have you seen that brides have come to you and asked for decorations for their wedding?
I think that this year probably the rustic is one of the most intense ones. Brides are always looking for that rustic but still elegant. It's like an elevated rustic chic theme, yes.
And when a bride comes to you with an idea, what is your favorite one to hear, the one that you love to collaborate with?
Absolutely the modern. I feel that there's so much more room to play around with. The clean, everything is perfectly placed. A lot of reflection, a lot of shimmer, mirrors. I love playing with crystals. So it really gives a lot more for me to play around with.
So the glitz and glam is what you love.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Do you prefer hosting small events or big events?
I think that for an event planner, for my point of view at least, I prefer a small event. Less people, generally speaking, for budgetary reasons, it always allows me to play much more in a small event, so I can pay more attention to the details on each place setting, on each guest, give them more value for that same budget.
Well, it definitely sounds like you found your passion. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me here in studio.
No, thank you for having me.
When you're ready to start planning your wedding, go to Showcase Wedding and click on the link for Bacino Events. Did you know? Honeymoons weren't always as romantic as they are today. Couples went into hiding after the wedding, and a family member would bring them a cup of honey wine for 30 days, or one moon, which is how the term honeymoon originated. Now in studio, I have Melissa Gentile, a local wedding dress designer. She's going to give us all the information that you need to know about designing your own custom dress. Welcome to studio.
Thank you for having me.
Give me a little information, a little background on Melissa Gentile Couture.
Well, first of all, I started business 13 years ago, but I've been designing since I'm a little kid. I was always passionate about sewing and making my own clothes. And so it started at a really young age. And once I finished high school and I had to pursue my studies, I went into design. And after that, I interned with a local bridal gown designer. And from there, I just got a total passion for it. I just loved wedding dress designing. And I started my own business from that point on.
Now, when someone thinks of having a customized dress made, it can be thought of as quite an overwhelming process. Can you lead me through the steps that it takes?
Yes, for some brides it seems like an overwhelming process, but it's actually fairly simple when we go step by step. So the first initial meeting with the bride, we just kind of go over her ideas, what she likes, what she dislikes, and we brainstorm together.
All the drawings that she had when she was a little girl.
Pretty much. Because every little girl dreams of it from a young age up to this day, right? And so once we've come up with an idea, I sketch it out for her. We go over some tweaks that she might have. And then we start the creation process. So we basically start the dress from scratch. So the first fitting she'll have is really just like a plain fitting of the dress, like no details or beadwork added on it yet. It's just the first initial dress fitting, and then from there on we add detailing and beadwork and layering, and you just see it come to life like step by step. And the whole creation
Wonderful.
process is really fun.
How far in advance should they be coming to see you in order to get that process started?
Look, I mean, everyone has different time frames. Like ideally, I'd say 8 months, but I mean, we do rush orders as well. Like if a bride only has 5 months or 4 months, I mean,
It
we
is
make work.
possible.
It is possible. I mean, maybe not 2 weeks, but
Yeah,
if you
give
come
me some
within a
time.
decent time frame, you have enough time.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, you're obviously going to give your input and a little bit of you, so where do you get your inspiration?
I get inspired by the fabrics I work with, the trends, and also the client. I, look at her and I use her as base for inspiration on what I think would suit her, what she also likes to see on herself, and I go from there. I'm not gonna put a client in a dress that's really not fitted for her, because that's not the point of making a dress custom made. It's to have the right fit for you, the right style for you.
Now, speaking of trends, when a bride comes to you, she might have an idea or something that she's seen in a magazine. How often is that what they come to you with?
It happens very often. A few years ago when Kate Middleton married Prince William, I got a lot of phone calls like within weeks for the Kate dress.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted a dress with lace sleeves, and that's when the trend started actually. So now you see a lot of dresses with lace sleeves, which weren't so popular before.
So it's kind of come full circle
Yeah,
again.
it's come full circle again.
What is your favorite style of dress to create when a bride says, I want this, and you just say, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do it?
I think, honestly, the more complex and intricate the style, the more I love it, because it becomes a challenge for me. Like, the harder the challenge, the more you just want to work towards that goal. So when a bride comes to me and she wants this dress with this voluminous skirt with intricate detail, I love it.
So do you have a memorable dress that someone had you really challenge or really push the envelope?
I do. A couple of years ago, this bride came to me and wanted a big ball gown, and she wanted the top made entirely of lace with all these beads. So we had actually just beaded her entire cap sleeves and neckline, and it looked gorgeous.
Something you hadn't done before, and
exactly.
you really got to showcase your work.
Exactly.
What would you say is your favorite part about creating dresses for brides?
I love the whole design process, from the beginning sketching to the final product, because that's when you really see your idea and your work come to life.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining me in studio, Melissa.
It was a pleasure.
These were beautiful gowns. I'm so glad you could break down a few of those misconceptions that maybe brides had about having their dress created. When you go to the Showcase Wedding website, I want you to click on Melissa's link and share with her what has been your dream wedding dress style. I'm here with Maria De Rosa, founder and creator of Papier Fashionista. Welcome.
Thank you.
You have brought us some absolutely beautiful invitations that you create, but first I want you to give me a little background on how this company was created.
I graduated in fashion design, I would say about 20 years ago, and I started Papier Fashionista as a full-time thing when I realized that there was such a big demand through family and friends. I had like a passion for paper, and I wanted to implement fashion onto paper. I realized I wasn't fulfilled with my fashion career, so I started doing this, and I just had fun with it. I love working with brides and grooms, so at the end of the day, it just came out that way.
So my first question is, why should a bride and groom choose a customized invitation as opposed to buying a box set?
Custom invitations is really the way to go today, in my opinion, just because I feel like it sets the tone, it sets the mood to your wedding, and it's important. And
It's the first thing that the guest will receive, correct?
yeah, it's the first impression to the wedding. So I'd like to say that, it's like tiny little gifts that you're kind of handing out to your guests. So it makes it unique and special when it comes from the bride and groom. And I just feel like it's a sense of you don't have that relationship when you're just buying online type of thing, So it's nice to have a little bit of that guidance when you're working with a stationery designer.
Now, how far in advance should a bride or groom be coming to see you to get this process started?
I would say about 6 to 7 months before, just because it's like pretty much you're designing a dress. You need all these little elements to put it together to make it look beautiful. Well, same thing for invitations. I mean, if we're gonna add pearl to the invitation, if we're gonna add diamonds and so on and so forth. Like for example, wax seals are very popular this year. So, the wax seal takes time to actually seal every single invitation, depending on how many you have. And I really believe that 6 to 7 months before is the actual time frame to actually come and see an invitation designer.
And in order for a bride and groom to make a choice to really stream down to what they want, how much inspiration or how much idea should they be coming to you with?
Well, you tend to get a little bit overwhelmed when it comes to internet today and Pinterest and so on and so forth. But I really say the best advice I can give to brides and grooms today is just stick with your style. Just go with who you are together as a couple, and that's what's going to bring out the invitation at the end of the day.
Is that usually who's coming in to pick out the invitation? Is the bride and groom, or do they bring other family members with them?
No, they tend to bring a lot of their family members too sometimes, but it's okay. Everybody sees, they want that encouragement. They want to make sure they're making the right decisions, and it's fine. It makes it all more fun at the end of the day. So.
And how often, when they come in and they think they have an idea, how often do you change that idea?
I would say about 80% of the time, just because sometimes, you need to be realistic about what you want, and you need to respect your budget at the end of the day. So yeah, it's all nice when you see Pinterest stuff and so on and so forth, but it's just really used for inspiration. It's not used for the actual product.
It's the
end
starting
product.
point.
Yeah,
It comes
exactly.
to you, and then you can, like you said, you pick the different colors, you different the paper, and not even just paper, you have other types of invitations.
Yes, well, actually, plexiglass is very popular this year. There's the marble effect that you can use as a background on a piece of paper. You can add pearls, you can add diamonds. There's the wood.
The
that's
wood
very
for a
rustic.
country
Yeah,
wedding, or you've got an
exactly.
elegant wedding.
Exactly, yeah.
So what's one of the biggest trends that you see right now?
Trends in terms of color, I would say it's probably going to be the rose golds and the blush, and of course, actually Pantone announced their color this year as being the ultraviolet color of the season. So the
So just like
ultraviolet.
fashion, you said it goes right into
Yeah, exactly.
clothing.
So it's implemented onto pieces of paper, and you can use the ultraviolet with silvers and golds. So it's really fun. There's so many different elements and so many different things that we can do with design.
There is, like you said, you've got your diamonds, you've got pearls, you've got...
Exactly. It's kind of endless at the end of the day. So
I could see that. And do you have any favorite projects that you've done?
I do. I actually had the privilege of working with Caroline Neron and Martin Lafleur, and also Denis Fortin from 105.7 FM. And basically, it was just fun, having to cater to celebrities and working with them and actually using it in my portfolio as well.
Well, definitely, when I get an invitation like that in the mail, I think I'm going to a celebrity wedding. So you have beautiful, beautiful pieces of artwork.
Thank
is
you.
really
I
what they
appreciate
are. If you go onto our website, you're going to find the link, and you can go check out her beautiful designs. Did you know? The tradition of a bride wearing something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue comes from an Old English rhyme, each representing continuity, optimism for the future, borrowed happiness, and purity, love, and fidelity. Now I get to sit and talk with Kim. She's the co-owner of the Blow Me Beauty Bar. Now that's an extremely cheeky name. Can you give me a little background on that?
So it is a cheeky name, and we kind of did it on purpose. Initially, we were supposed to be just a blow-dry bar. So we had a girls' weekend. We had a lot of wine, and we thought we were funny. We were thinking, blowouts, who are you blowing? You're getting a blowout, you're blowing me. Let's call it Blow Me.
So what's the actual feedback that you've received from people?
So some people think it's really funny, and some people think that it's called blown. So we have like a really nice divide of clients where they have like a debate about what the name is, and some people come outside and they take a picture with the logo and they think it's funny. And we think it's a really good conversation starter. It's a nice icebreaker.
Oh, it definitely is, definitely. So tell me, when a bride is coming to you, how far in advance should they be coming to the salon?
Technically, they should be coming 2 to 3 months in advance. Some brides are a little more relaxed, so they'll come maybe a month before. And we do have brides that come in a year before, which I personally think is way too much in advance. I think that 2 to 3 months is a really good starting point.
Perfect. And Weddings are taking place in the summer as well as winter. Do you see a change in hairstyles when that happens?
You know, technically, I feel like we should see a change, but we don't really, because the modern bride is very much into the bohemian, relaxed look. I find that the really tight chignons and the updos are kind of passé. And I find that if you're getting married in December, if you're getting married in the summer, the vibe of that bohemian, relaxed, very organic bride is really classic throughout the year.
Oh, wonderful. And you've brought a beautiful look today. Can
We
you give me a little
did.
explanation on that?
We did. So it's a very typical blow me style. We have our classic waves that we do generally 99.9% of the time. And it's basically bohemian, so it's pulled out a lot. And it's made to look really tousled and organic. And it's very, very modern, very relaxed.
Very soft, very romantic.
Very romantic.
And those little flowers in there are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Imagine for photos and a change up for a normal style.
Exactly. So mostly baby's breath or little flowers or even like a little accessory will do.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having
clearing
us.
the name for us. And now I get to speak with Audrey, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So now I get to introduce you to Audrey. She's the other half of Blow Me Beauty Bar. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me, I need you to break down a little bit of the services that you offer.
So at Blow Me, we offer many services. We do hair updos, we have a braid bar, color cuts, mostly specialized in balayage, and we also offer nails. So from nails, from gel manicure to gel extensions. So we really wanted to make it a one-stop shop.
How far in advance should a bride be coming to you to get the nails done?
So for her nails done, for a gel manicure, I would say maybe 2 to 3 days before would be best. A classic mani, I would say the day before.
And you have a coconut marshmallow vibe. I want to know, what is that?
Yeah, it's a very, very popular color. What happened is that we saw that a lot of bride wanted something very soft, but they didn't want to have the French manicure because that's kind of passé. When it comes to dresses, there's a lot of dresses that are ivory, white, a little bit of blush. So we started mixing two very popular polish that we have, which is coconut and marshmallow. It creates a very, very beautiful and organic color.
And the look that you brought on the model today, it's got a lot of jewels as well.
Yeah, so I wanted to show that we could or have it very simple, or you could bling it out, you know, to make it just that extra special nail for your wedding.
So the ring is definitely the forefronted, but do you see a lot of girls going very extreme with their nails?
You have some brides that will go very extreme, that will want to have that pop, that nail polish that pops, and you have one that just want to have the focus on the dress.
And you have both those options. Yeah. Now at your salon, you actually make it an entire VIP treatment for the bride and her entire team. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we want to make it really, really fun. The bride is already mostly nervous that day. So we make it a point for her to be really surrounded by her family, by her bridesmaid, the mom. So they come in, we have music of her choice, really blasting. We have champagne, she can bring her catering service, her camera crew could come. We do a lot of cool shooting at the salon. So we make it her day. It starts at the salon with her day, and then
it's definitely
goes on to
something
the
she's
wedding.
going to remember for the
Yeah,
rest.
absolutely.
Wonderful. So by coming to the Blow Me Beauty Bar, the bride and her team is actually going to have all of the services taken care of.
That's the goal.
Wonderful. So when you go to the Showcase Wedding website, click on the link for Blow Me Bar and let them know what you think of their name. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Showcase Wedding. If you want to share your love story, funny moment, or you want your business on the next episode, please go to the Showcase Wedding website and find all the information you need to contact us. Again, to all the newly engaged brides and grooms, we want to wish you congratulations, félicitations, mazel tov.